Have you ever noticed that the hardest thing to defeat in life is not someone else's doubt? It's your own. It's not failure that breaks you. It's giving up before you even try. From the moment we were young, they taught us to be realistic, to settle, but reality was never the finish line. It was just the starting point. If you treat reality as a rulebook, it will trap you. But if you treat it as a springboard, it will launch you to places beyond imagination. The height of your life is not defined by luck, talent, or circumstance. It's defined by your belief in what's possible. Edison failed 1,000 times and said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Walt Disney was rejected by 300 banks, but he kept going, not because he wanted money, but because he believed he wasn't building cartoons, he was building dreams. You think they're different from you? No, they just believe one thing more fiercely than you ever did. I deserve to succeed. You think you lack opportunity. But what you really lack is a version of you who stands up after 100 defeats and says, "I'm not done yet." We live in an age obsessed with labels. They call you average, and you start acting like it. They say you're worthless, and you begin to wonder if it's true. But remember this, no one's voice should be louder than the one inside you, unless you've already chosen silence. Belief is not motivation. It's that force that gets you out of bed when your whole body wants to give up. Belief is not emotion. It's that breath you take when everything hurts, but you still refuse to quit. True change doesn't begin when the world shifts. It begins when you finally say the words deep within, "Enough. I'm taking control." Every giant you admire didn't start on the summit. They clawed their way up, through doubt, through failure, through pain. And if you can't find a light, be the fire. If no one believes in you, be your own battle cry, because the one who shapes your destiny has always been staring back at you in the mirror. You need to understand this. Life isn't about how lucky you are. It's about how brave you are when no one else believes in you. Most people only move when they see results, but those who rewrite their destiny, they keep moving even when they see nothing but fog ahead. Clarity is your lighthouse in the storm. Without goals, you're driftwood. But with goals, even if the world moves backward, you move forward. Real power doesn't come from mindless hustle. It comes from intentional steps. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what do you truly want? Not what they expect, not what society applauds, but that raw, electrifying vision that sets your soul on fire. If you've never dared to look at that vision, you'll live your life inside someone else's script, performing a role that doesn't even move you. Vision is fire. It won't let you settle. It's not fantasy, it's the why that greets you every single morning. Why fight? Why rise? Why endure? Why persist? Because when you have a why, you'll always find the how. But direction is only the beginning. What truly takes you there is discipline. The discipline to show up when no one's clapping, when no one sees you, when no one understands. That's the lever. That's what shifts your entire trajectory. Every hard decision you make, every moment you act when it's hard, not easy, you're declaring war on your old self. When you kill laziness, you bury your limits. When you endure solitude, you outrun your competition. When you act, you dismantle the impossible. So, stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. You are the moment. Right now. Right here. This is your portal. Not tomorrow. Not after you get more money. More support. More understanding. Now it starts with you. Remember this. Your future won't wait for your hesitation. It won't get safer just because you stand still. It will only drift further away. Most people don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they think too much undacked too little. They waste time scripting every possible failure instead of simply taking the first step. You want success? Then move. Even if you can't see the finish line. Even if your hands are shaking. Even if your next move feels like a gamble. As long as you're in motion, you're ahead of 99. Because this world doesn't reward the ready. It rewards the doers, the leapers, the fall and rise again warriors. 6 doesn't belong to perfectionists. It belongs to those who throw punches in chaos, who walk forward even in fog. Belief isn't the mood. It's a decision. A decision to keep going when no one understands you. A decision to try the 11th time after failing 10. A decision to stand up when everything's screens stay down. Ever heard of Thomas Watson, founder of IBM? He said, "Want to increase your success rate? Double your failure rate?" That's not a motivational quote. That's reality. The longer you avoid failure, the longer you delay your breakthrough. You want to grow? Then be willing to look foolish. Be willing to begin. Be willing to be misunderstood. Be willing to commit when there's no applause, no glory, just grit. Every drop of sweat now is the shine on your future. Every moment of pain now becomes the fire behind your walk. The world doesn't reward almost. It remembers those who refuse to quit. So don't fear being slow. Don't fear being unseen. Don't fear being alone. You're not living for applause. You're living for belief. If you're still breathing, you still have a shot. If you still believe, you still have a future. Be harder on your excuses. Be loyal to your vision. Be ruthless to your fears. Be obsessed with your purpose. You'll thank the version of you that refused to lie down in the dark. You'll thank the lonely runner who never stopped. You'll thank the voice inside you that shouted when the world went silent. I am not done. True belief doesn't shine only when the sun is out. It's the voice that whispers in the storm. The sky will clear. Life isn't a movie. There are no perfect filters. No soundtrack used to warn you when the climax is coming. No narrator telling you, this is the turning point. What you need is a kind of irrational faith. A wild obsession. A stubborn, blind commitment that doesn't wait for the world to approve. Let them call you crazy. Let them call you naive. You're not here to be understood. You're here to finish what you were born to start. Every great beginning is invisible at first. Every giant once whispered their goals in empty rooms. The world won't pause for your tears, but it will make room for your refusal to quit. Think of the people who shaped history. Abraham Lincoln lost almost every election before he became one of the greatest leaders. Steve Jobs was thrown out of his own company, but he didn't rage or retreat. He built Pixar. He reimagined Apple. He turned exile into evolution. They weren't lucky. They just didn't break in the darkness. They lit their own fire. And so can you. Inside you, there's a spark. Most people let it die. They smother it with fear, with doubt, with other people's opinions. But not you. You're hearing this voice. You're here right now. That means something in you still says, I want more. Don't silence that voice. Don't lock your dream behind logic and fear. Your strength doesn't come from your bank account, not from your degrees or your network. It comes from how far you're willing to go for what you believe. No more running. No more shrinking. No more self-sabotage. You were born for one big moment. You were born to fight every day, grow every day. You must understand this. Nothing you have is guaranteed. Waking up today was a gift. The fact that you can walk, think, speak, that's power. That's grace. Most people lose because they take too much for granted. They get used to what they have, and in that comfort, they forget to honor it. They chase more and forget to bow before what they already have. But belief, the real kind, begins when you learn to be grateful and still choose to rise. Gratitude is not weakness. It's your strongest foundation. It keeps you grounded in chaos. It makes you humble when you succeed. It anchors you to your mission when everything else tries to pull you away. The more you can appreciate, the more you can carry. Because every joy, every wound, every twist in your story, it's all part of the script you're here to live. But gratitude alone is not enough. You must grow. You must evolve every single day. This world is changing fast. If you don't upgrade, you'll be replaced. If you don't learn, you'll be forgotten. It's okay to learn slowly. But refusing to learn, that's defeat. Study a little. Reflect a little. Challenge yourself a little, not to impress anyone, but so that the next time life hits you hard, you won't be the same person you were yesterday. True growth happens when no one's watching. When there's no trophy waiting. When it's 2 a.m. and you're still showing respect to your future. And then something incredible happens. The more you learn, the more you start to search for meaning. Not more data, not more books, but deeper understanding. You begin to ask, why am I here? Where does my gift belong? Are my scars actually the beginning of my purpose? Is the pain I've endured meant to become someone else's light? And when you start living for something bigger, you stop being just a person. You become a lighthouse. Your life is not just your own. You're shaping those around you. You're affecting the time you live in. You're lighting paths you may never see the end of. So if you can walk farther. If you can speak truth. If you can burn brighter. The world doesn't lack intelligence. It doesn't lack lucky people. It doesn't lack tools. It lacks people with faith, with warmth, with mission. Be that person. Become someone even you would admire. Listen, you don't need more books. You don't need more advice. You don't need more time to get ready. What you need is action. Right now, today. Not someday when you're smarter. Not when you're richer. Not when you finally feel ready. That day will never come. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards the ones who move while afraid. You have 1,000 reasons to delay. You only need one reason to begin. Afraid. Good, take fear with you. Doubtful. Perfect. Step forward anyway. Not good enough yet? Even better, grow on the way. There are no perfectly prepared people. Only those who show up in the chaos. Listen, you don't need more books. You don't need more advice. You don't need more time to get ready. What you need is action. Right now, today. Not someday when you're smarter. Not when you're richer. Not when you finally feel ready. That day will never come. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards the ones who move while afraid. You have 1,000 reasons to delay. You only need one reason to begin. Afraid? Good, take fear with you. Doubtful? Perfect? Step forward anyway. Not good enough yet? Even better, grow along the way. There are no perfectly prepared people. Only those who show up in the chaos. Who keep grinding when no one's watching. Who, surrounded by silence and doubt, still believe in themselves. They laugh at you. Let them. They don't get it. Who cares? You weren't born to be understood. You were born to set yourself on fire. If you don't rise, no one will rise for you. If you don't change, your story stays stuck. If you don't take the first step, there is no second. The version of you dream of becoming, it doesn't just appear. It's carved, piece by piece, by every decision you make today. Be ruthless, say goodbye to the old you. Be strong. Be loyal to the future you. Be wild, tell the world. I'm done playing by your rules. I'm writing my own. Don't wait until life gives you proof to believe. Believe and life will move to match you. Belief isn't abstract. Belief is action. Right now. Put down the phone. Stand up. Write the goal. Make the call. Begin what you've been running from. This is not just a video. This is a beginning. Do you feel it? Do you hear it? Not one day. Today, the world is waiting for you to move. Destiny is waiting for you to rise. Time is waiting for you to wake up. So rise and become the person you were always meant to be.